Morning.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday morning. Hope everybody's well. Dalton here from Sippin' Sports, joined by KJ McCoy.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, you're looking good in that shirt right there.
Thank you. Somebody got this for me, so just got to represent the legend himself, the Doc. Rest in peace, Doc Holliday. Roy
That's
Howard.
a graduation gift. So to all you graduates out there, it's graduation season for all our South Jersey listeners. You know that. Shout out to my cousin Nate Holland if you're listening. Congratulations to you. But welcome to another episode of Sippin' Sports. We are actually pre-recording today's episode Friday night prior to you guys watching it around 7 o'clock. Phillies are just getting started with the Orioles. So we're going to give our best for our prediction, but there could be something amazing. There could be something crazy. There could be something horrific. I don't know. So if we're not reacting to that, that's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do want to take it. Huh?
And we're also on the road. Some of us.
Yeah, we are on the road too. And like our special guest who we're bringing in right now, I want to take a second to introduce. Can I get a drum roll? JPL Pacero.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
How are you?
Pretty good.
Dude, I'm blessed. I can't complain over here, man. Hoping the Phils can turn her back around down in crab cake land. But listen, I'm having fun. I'm with the boys. What else can go wrong on a Friday night?
Yes,
what else can go wrong?
We're glad to have you, man. And we're proud
to be here, man.
We're proud to see the growth that you made from TikTok to now PHLY as well. I mean, that's an awesome honor. I mean, we just love watching it. I mean, from a far end. So it's great to see you doing well and trying it out, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, listen, God above is really good to me so far this past year with PHLY. Such a great family that we built over there. Getting to learn from the cuz every day has been freaking awesome, man. But I got people like you guys to thank, really, just interacting with you guys or just supporting my content. I can't thank you guys enough. But man, it's fun. It's fun to catch up with you guys because obviously, listen, it's Philly season. This Phillies team is a lot of fun. We're talking about sellout crowds at CBP in May. In April, May, we were doing that. We're freaking taking over London. It's the year of the Philly.
It is the year of the Philly. And also, if you guys don't, please give JP a follow. And thank you for your kind words, man. That's what it's all about, guys. Philly sports. That's the cool part about it. I even said to KJ millions of times. I said, and KJ knows. Sorry, excuse me. I'm enjoying a root beer over here. Man, taking me back to my childhood.
Love it.
Point being, I said to KJ, man, if I never make money at this, if I never make it in the big leagues, I don't care. You know why? Because every second I get to talk to you guys, I get to meet new Philly fans, people that are ride or dies that I know are going to be at the game, my family with a PH. That's all worth it to me because, at the end of the day, we're all going to die one day. It's all about the memories you make. And that's the best part about Philly fandom is we are here for the memories.
It's a big thing you say there because I had this conversation with my parents. Listen, for full disclosure, people don't know, I'm a first generation American. I have parents from Colombia straight up. So trying to explain to them that I want to do sports talk for the rest of my life was really hard to kind of explain. And they would always throw different business ventures, different things I should do in my life. And I'd be like, Mom, Dad, if I don't do this with my life now, I'm going to regret my life the next 10, 15 years. And luckily I stuck with it and things worked out. But dude, if you have a passion for something, it doesn't even have to be sports. Just fucking stick to it, grind your ass off, and some good things happen. And also one thing to put out as well, because Dalton's really good at this, is the people you meet as well. And meeting people like Dalton, like KJ, like Chaos Chris, which by the way, it's kind of weird to call him Chaos Chris still, but meeting great people is important.
We know there's certain reasons why he's not.
Yeah, I've had my slip-ups on the show, too, so don't worry. Yeah. I'm shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of times we kind of we kind of slip up, and
but the
we
name's perfect though that he picked.
It is
because
it actually
describes his fandom of, if you know what Chris is like when Chris gets to that level of fandom, when the Phillies push him, he is chaos. I love it.
Dude, he got me in trouble 21 draft because we select Devontae Smith. We trade up. First off, we jump over the Giants. We traded with the Cowboys. We select Devontae Smith. And obviously, listen, we're all TikTok and we're all putting digital content online. So I'm putting up the reaction to this pick. He's freaking out. I'm laughing my ass off. Everyone on TikTok thinks that I hated the pick, which in reality, I was pretty all right with it. And look, it worked out very well. But yes, Chris loves his chaos.
I remember his dad was freaking out too. They were both freaking out and they were going insane. Like Papa Maffo was going ballistic.
I mean, like, I was a little iffy on the pick only because of the history with drafting wide receivers and the Birds. But listen, the pedigree in Alabama, his competitive edge, we should have known. And listen, he can be a starter. He could be a wide receiver one for a lot of teams in the NFL. Luckily, Howie has been wizarding all offseason, man. I love what he's been doing.
Yeah, it's been a hell of an offseason. And speaking of, we had a little bit of controversy with the tampering thing. It's in the clear. Take it first, JP. What did you think about this? The great news, obviously, rejoice.
I mean, this is a big nothing. This is like more for us to kind of just give another big FU to New York and those Giants fans, right? Because they were the ones that were really pushing this narrative, right? And of course, this didn't need an investigation. And in all honesty, can James Franklin? Hey, where's Chaos Chris tonight? I need to talk to him and my Penn Staters. Can James Franklin?
I'm a fan of Penn State too. So
KJ's a fan of Penn State too.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus Christ, James, what are you doing to us, man?
I know he's not thinking. He is not thinking. I mean, I have a bunch of buddies who are Penn State fans, and I was asking them. I said, "What the heck is Franklin doing? You know how much I don't like Franklin anyway, and I want Penn State to fire him." But yeah, I was shocked when he just kind of started this whole narrative, as you said before. I mean, the Giants fans, they want to start this narrative. I have Giants fans in my comment section all the time, just keep on asking, like, okay, yeah, like they're just jealous that we have Saquon. It's obvious. It's obvious as heck.
And listen, the Knicks series loss sucked, right? But at least with this, like, we got their boy. Like, they're still pissed off that we got their boy, and the Birds still own the Giants, so we can ride that home, man.
I love it because, like you guys said, it's just another, like, stick it to the Giants. I know when we were down in Clearwater, every Giants fan, especially Colin, was like, you guys, like, definitely, like, tampered this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then the DeAndre Swift thing happened.
Yeah. That was instant, too. That was instant.
I think that Saquon just played for a team for so long that sucked ass. He watched us across the field, had a lot of respect for what we were building, what we were doing. Because I think at this point, how many years has he been in the league? 6, 7?
I think he's going into his 6th season or 7th season.
I think his 6th season. Yes. I remember I was like, I want to say a sophomore in college when he was getting drafted, which would be about then ago. And I always was like, this guy is such a generational back. He's going to be like AP, Thunder Thighs. And the fact that the Eagles got him just shocked me. I always wondered, like, if he, like, would go to the Eagles or the Cowboys just because, like, they beat him down so many times. I didn't actually ever think it would happen. So I'm thrilled about it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, to think that Saquon is our running back, I mean, me and Dole have talked about it many times. It's mind-blowing to think that he's going to be in the backfield. And I mean, you got the two demons on both sides of the wide receiving core. You got AJ and Devontae. But then if that doesn't work out with the passing game, then you got Saquon to rely on too. So it's just crazy. You got a lot of options for sure.
Well, I mean, like, one thing that Saquon does is he adds more pressure to his offense. And we kind of talked about it on Anthony Gargano's show this week, is that, like, look, Jalen he's under a microscope this season because the way last season ended, I mean, before last year, we were all talking about Jalen as a top 5. And if you're going to this season feeling the same way, I mean, like, you're kind of looking at it through the Eagles' glasses because Jalen did not play well. And he does deserve some of the blame for some of the collapse. But yes, the toys are there. I really do believe in Kellen Moore. I think that his schemes is what can throw a little different wrench into this Eagles offense. Fact of the matter is, defenses figured out the Eagles offense. Eagles had to make those adjustments this offseason, and Saquon definitely helps. You mentioned it. You already have, KJ mentioned, like, you already have the weapons on the outside. Let's not forget one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end in Dallas Goedert. Now what you add in Saquon, is you can continue in 20, like what you did in 22 with that powerful running game that opened up that passing attack, but also Saquon's a bully as a pass protector too. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be a lot of pressure on this Eagles team.
Oh, for sure.
Especially the offense.
Yeah, especially the offense. Oh, for sure.
I'm a little bit worried about it for that reason. Like you guys kept saying, there's like plenty of toys. Sometimes I think too many toys can make things complicated. You know, people always talk about too many cooks in the kitchen is a good quote. So that has me a little bit worried. But the thing about Jalen Hurts that I do like is he's calm in situations like that. So, you know, if he has one bad game, I don't think, you know, it's going to go all downhill. He's a completely different mind than Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz was his own best friend and his own worst enemy at times. He could either be, you know, either or. Jalen Hurts, though, I think what I'm more worried about is not necessarily him. We've seen what he can do. I'm worried about how do you mesh with Kellen Moore, with Saquon Barkley. Like, there's so many new moving pieces coming in. It makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, and I have those reports too about him and Nick Sirianni may not be mixing well, which, listen, we'll find out, right? Like, those are all just reports. I think, like, listen, it's June. You know, the fact that the Phillies are a hot topic right now, it feels a little bit odd. But listen, I think that this upcoming season, it's for Jalen for the taking, right? Like, you know, get back to where we were talking about before last year. I'm with you guys. Like, I have confidence in him. Some people may not have that confidence still, but it's you nailed on the head, Dalt. He has a strong mental build. And that's why I trust and believe him. And it's not even just about him. It's about him evolving as a leader too. Like, you know, when shit hits the fan, you're the starting quarterback. People are going to look at you. People always look at the quarterback first. And are you going to be the guy to lead the bunch? And he's shown he can do that. So it's going to be about execution this year, boys. Execution.
Exactly.
Cross your T's, dot your I's. Let's go, Philly. Come on.
I love it.
We need Coach JP out there, but a little bit of drama up north. I like to talk about things that aren't our business when they're our business for both New York teams, because the one, I mean, Jets fans, I find them interesting. They're green. They're irrelevant to us. My one buddy, shout out to Alex Robson, is a Jets fan if you're listening, but oh my goodness. He tried to say today, he's like, yeah, remember when Reddick was doing that to you guys? I'm like, no, I don't remember Reddick skipping practices and having things like this. I know he hasn't signed yet, but I don't remember this attitude. So how are you guys feeling about the whole Hassan Reddick thing? And could he ever come back to Philadelphia?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I think that for right now, Howie definitely dodged that bullet. I mean, listen, I think what started this, if I'm being honest, if you guys remember last year, I wasn't sure if it was ESP or some of the other reporter, but they brought up his contract, right? Because 22, he was ridiculous. The numbers he put up were absolutely ridiculous. And so with the contributions that he did, you know, obviously someone's going to bring it up. Like, dude, you probably should get paid a lot more for what you did. Like, you were a top 5 pass rusher in the NFL. And so I think that kind of started a little bit something. And then once you start losing a little bit, like, dude, the whole defense, all right? Like, dude, I mean, freaking Haddon Township right down the street from me. Haddon Township, the Hawks could have probably scored on the Eagles defense last year. That's how inept it was. And so, you know, Howie wanted to the offseason, really wanted to rebuild the D-line. Now, I was one of the proponents that I did want Hassan Reddick to come back because I just felt like in that Vic Fangio scheme, dude, he recognizes a lethal pass rusher. He's going to put a game plan together that would be best fit for him. And dude, he gets traded. And honestly, I think Howie read the tale there, right? Like, dude, the fact that he's not showing up for mandatory camp here, it shows a lot. That's not how you want to start it off. You're trying to get a new contract. What you should be doing is going into camp, just make good relationships. I know you probably don't want to play for the Jets. I get that. You were just in your hometown team, but you gotta fight for a contract, dude. You still have to. It's when you get traded, it's a clean slate. All right, what you did in Philadelphia happened in the past. Now you got to reprove yourself. So what he's doing right now is it's not beneficial for him in trying to get paid. I'm a little disappointed in him. I'm not gonna lie to you. But for him to come back, I mean, it'd have to probably be later on down the line with his career. Anytime soon, I definitely don't think it's going to happen, but it's the Jets' problem now, right?
El Pacero is totally right. I think we totally did dodge a bullet. I mean, with Hassan Reddick, I mean, he had a lot of luggage. I mean, obviously, with the whole contract negotiations, he was really trying to get some kind of contract going with the Eagles. And the Eagles went other ways. They went other avenues, and they paid Devontae. They paid A.J. Brown. So they really tried to pay the offense where they really weren't paying the defense. I mean, they did pay Josh Sweat, which was kind of a surprise to me, but they did actually pay him. So they brought him back, but then they traded Hassan Reddick. And I mean, it kind of makes sense why they did it because all of us were really confused why the heck it even happened. Like, it was shocking. I was just like, I saw a notification on my phone and I was like, wait, we actually traded Hassan Reddick. And I was pissed. I mean, I was mad at the moment, but then now that I'm seeing the whole turmoil that's happening with him in New York, I mean, I'm glad that Howie kind of avoided the whole situation because it probably would have been happening here. And he probably would have got way more heat here just because he's a hometown kid. He's from Camden. As El Parcero was saying, he's a local guy. He grew up as an Eagles fan as well. So he would be getting way more heat as well because it seems like, hey, you're playing for your dream team. Like, you grew up playing for this team and now you're asking for more money for your childhood team. And I get it. That's what a lot of these athletes now, I mean, they want more money. They want more contract. I mean, they just want more endorsements and everything. So I think for him, he got traded and he's butthurt about it. So, and he's in New York as El Parcero was saying as well, it's the Jets. So it's a little bit different. It's not like it's the Eagles. So he must be a little bit, I guess, disgruntled. So I think that's where his mindset is right now. And he's just trying to, I mean, I know Saleh said that he thought Hassan was in a good place and Hassan was trying to, like, honestly, he was trying to get back in shape and everything like that. And he was doing his usual workouts in the summer, but it seemed like he was going to be there for mandatory practice and he just wasn't.
For any kid out there, right? I don't care if you're a professional athlete or if you're working at McDonald's. You need to have constant communication if you're feeling some type of way about your employer. Like, if you're not feeling going to work, right? Like, go to work first off. But if you really don't want to go to work, just call them. Communicate. Like, communication is key in any type of relationship, including a work relationship. And the fact that he's not being, transparent with the Jets, that's just super telling. Now, if you're an Eagles fan, you do need him to play because that third can turn into a second in 26. So better hope he does play.
Yeah. I think he will. I think it's going to blow over.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to blow over.
I hope so, because the biggest thing that you guys said that I really like, this guy needs to show character. He doesn't need to prove it to the Jets organization necessarily. He needs to prove it to the fans. They're all looking at him right now, being like, what the hell did we get into? We just lost this kid, Huff, who was a young developing talent, somebody that we liked watching. And now we got this guy. Like, that's probably what they're thinking. It's funny because I think if you flip the script and if you traded them back, like you put Huff back on the Jets and Reddick back on the Eagles, I don't think that this would be a story at all. Like, I actually think Reddick would end up playing. I think he's just, even without the contract, I think he would still be here because he has relationships with people. And like, imagine like how his like friends and family would be going into the grocery store that are diehard Birds fans. Like, there's a different kind of respect that he probably has where he's like, shit, I gotta go to this now. Like, or like the guy who I see at the grocery store, the guy who cuts my hair, the guy who, all these things of people that he grew up are going to give him shit. He's in New York now. He doesn't really know. I mean, I'm sure he knows people, but he doesn't know anybody like that, like at his home. Yeah. So it's very out of character though. And I'm kind of upset to see it because right now you should be trying to get credibility with the fans, trying to just immerse yourself as much in a new community as you can. And instead you're just kind of doing all the wrong stuff.
You got a real taste of the business, a real sour taste of the business. Yeah. That's fortunately that's just the nature of how it goes. Sometimes the teams will feed you information, and then 2 years down the line, things change, and that's just how it goes. And for Hassan, he had to learn the hard way. But I want to say this too, because you mentioned Bryce Huff. I'm actually really excited for him because I think, like in Eagles history, especially during Jeffrey Lurie's tenure here as the owner, like we've had a lot of free agents coming here where people don't talk about it, maybe go a little bit under the radar. I think Bryce is in for a big season here, especially in Vic Fangio's system. And like you mentioned it, like he was young. I think like the big con about him coming from the Jets was the motor. That's what I heard at times. Like sometimes the motor wasn't always there. But dude, here in Philadelphia with this fan base and how we always keep them accountable, there's still some vets in that locker rooms. Obviously on defense we lost more of those vets, but I mean BG's still on that defensive line. I feel like having a strong locker room can really help someone like Bryce Hoff. I think Bryce Hoff is in for a big breakout year with the Birds.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bryce Hoff does have a good future as an Eagle for sure. That's a great point.
I think so too. I really I think we won. I keep saying it on podcasts. I think we won the war. We didn't necessarily win the battle. I think no doubt Reddick's a better player right now. Yeah. But as this kid develops, this is the gem.
So and you've also got a developing, I guess you could say, developing player in Nolan Smith as well. So, I mean, he's also a project, and I mean, he's got some big shoes to fill as well. I mean, he's gonna be backing up Huff as well. I think, right?
I don't know how they're going to split their time. I think Huff's going to be starting more over than Smith, but I bet Smith gets a lot more playing time this year because they're going to need him to develop. I bet it's going to be, I don't know how they're going to utilize him on what side yet, but it's going to probably be Sweat, Huff, and Smith that you see the most at those edge defender positions.
I think it's going to be Sweat, BG on one side, and I think it's going to be Huff and Nolan Smith. But, I mean, Nolan's another one. I mean, like, dude, honestly, all these Georgia boys, really, they still have a lot to prove. I mean, the Kobe really sucks for me because I really had high hopes, and it's really just been injuries for him. You know, you got to stay on the field, right? When you're a young player, the only way you're going to get better is just get as many snaps as possible. And if you're hurt, it really does hurt. But, you know, Jordan Davis, you know, he looks good now, but we'll wait to see. Jalen Carter, we'll see how that motor lasts for a full season. And Nolan Smith just really getting in there, and that's really what it's about. But these Georgia boys, we were hoping that we would get that Georgia defense here. They haven't really panned out, but there's still a lot of time for them.
Yeah, they still got some time. I think they're going to blossom. I think it's going to happen. I can feel it.
Oh, yeah.
Can you feel it? But
can you dig it?
I can feel
Bomer,
it.
He's back tonight, fellas. They're already up 1-0. I just looked at, but let's start with JP. How are you feeling about Bomer's return? Was a night off a good executive decision by Philly Rob?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, he's struggling as of late, right? And when you're, I saw his last 7 splits here. Yeah, he's been 13 of 15. Like that's not the Bohm that he was like a just shy of 300. I thought like 2 weeks ago with the batting average, and as of late, he hit a cold streak. And that's what happens with some young players, right? Like a month ago, he hit the cold streak, but with the glove, right? That West Coast weekend series, you had Colorado, and then you had San Francisco, and he did not have some great defensive plays, and he's kind of bounced back from that, and now it's trying to get that bat back. But obviously, the big thing, guys, and you know, we'll talk about the Boston series, but you know, the bats were kind of a problem, right? And when you're talking about missing pieces, you want a guy like Bohm, who's a young piece who has really exceeded expectations as these years have gone on. You expect them to kind of step up in that role. And so taking that night off was huge by Topper to do, and we'll see how he'll bounce back. I'll look at the stats later on tonight, but I'm happy that we were able to get him at least a day rest, because when you're in that type of spot, sometimes the best thing is just to sit back and relax.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for Alec Bohm as well, he kind of seemed like his dry spell was happening overseas. I mean, when we were in the London series, as JP was talking about before the show, we were talking about how the Phillies players seem like right now, I mean, the whole dry spell they're going on right now, the jet lag's real, as he said before. The jet lag seems like it's some kind of factor. And, I mean, it's really hard to kind of acclimate back to America time. I mean, back to, I mean, like the normal East Coast timing. So, yeah, I think this team is really just trying to get back acclimated. And I think Alec Bohm, he'll get back his groove. I mean, he's 28 years old. He's still got a little bit of some growth to happen for sure. And I think he's got something something's going to happen special. I mean, I think for him, it's only a matter of time before we start seeing him just freaking wreck it. So I think he's gonna spark soon.
I'm a big fan of how Bomer's bounced back mentally, like throughout all of it. I remember when we first started 302 Birds, like 2 years ago in 2021. I made so much fun of him for being a Nebraska guy. Like, I was like, he probably fucking hates it here. He's probably like, these fucking city slicking shit kickers.
Well, he did say that.
Shut up.
He did say that.
He said, I fucking hate this place, which was my favorite. But I always joke, I loved Alec Bohm. Then I hated Alec Bohm for 24 hours or whatever it was until I got that standing ovation. He bounced back. And, you love the guy since. And he's really stepped up to the plate as a whole this year. I just think it's a short streak for him, and it was bound to happen at some point. It's baseball. You go through slumps, ups, downs. Everybody has it. So I give it time, and I will say I'm happy it's happening now rather than later in the year. Like, get it out of your system now. Like, figure out how you can be consistent as a whole throughout the season rather than hot, cold, hot, cold. Like, figure out how you can get in control of that power so that once we get in the playoffs, you can just, tame the beast, for lack of a better term. Come on, Bohmer.
Yeah, Bohmer.
I like him. I like him a lot as a person. But right now, I said, I guess, is it still? Let me do a little score update so we'll get the most. Bottom of the second, 1-0. So like I said, if anything insane happens, somebody streaks on the field, that would have been the thumbnail. Sorry, I'm going to get it done tonight.
Nobody has yet. Probably tomorrow when Dolt goes there, he'll be the streaker.
Hey, take your bets now. Just say.
Well, listen, you're going to you have some competition because the kid in Cincinnati did it in style. All right. The backflip, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was crazy. I saw that. That
the
was
Johnny Bench jersey.
Nuts.
It was wild, dude.
Yeah, that's
athleticism.
Dude, these streakers have evolved, dude. When the one in Citizens Bank Park, I think that was like what, 09, 10? Like I forget what year it was, but I was still in high school.
Probably, right?
Yeah, I think it was a World Series year. I was in high school still, and I remember that whole entire. The kid was from Cherry Hill. The kid who went onto the field. Kid was from Cherry Hill. I'm from Cherry Hill. That whole entire day in high school, that's all everyone talked about. I was like, "Yo, dude, the guy who streaked at Citizens Bank Park is from Cherry Hill." Everyone went crazy. That was really wild, man. Fans.
It's crazy how those things like that's what makes sports fun, guys.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
why people, when you're younger, I don't think you get it as much. I do. I definitely encourage people to do it all day. That makes sports
Let's streak
awesome.
on the field. Listen to Dolt. Yeah, let's do that.
Son, why'd you do it? I listen to 302 Birds.
I'll be the devil on your shoulder. McCoy's the angel. Somebody's got to do it.
Sometimes I'm a devil, or Chris is sometimes. It depends. It depends.
Shit. But I'm excited for this series. I think this could be, a potential World Series, like the Phillies and the Orioles. I was wondering if it was going to happen last year because the way that they were both headed into the playoffs. We obviously have our bias. They looked great last year. I thought that this was going to be a World Series matchup last year. And just take a second to our viewers, to you guys, to everybody out there. Think about how awesome that if you are rich enough, you could hypothetically go to every World Series game if there's 7 games between Philadelphia and Baltimore. I used to live in Elkton, Maryland for like 10 years, which is like 45 minutes away from, maybe 55 minutes away from Baltimore, 55 minutes away from Philadelphia. So if you're in Elkton, man, this doesn't get better for you, this whole thing. So
Elkton Elks, or whatever team name they are.
Yeah, they actually, the Golden Elks is their football team. So you got that.
I was just guessing.
Hey, well, I mean, sometimes guessing, you went with answer C. You got it right.
Well, let me ask the question. Still really early, right? But would you gentlemen prefer Phil's Yankees part dois or Phil's Orioles in the World Series?
Phil's Orioles all day. Orioles all day. Camden Yards is gorgeous.
Here's my opinion on it. It would be cool, the whole I-95 World Series. I mean, that apparently happened in the 80s, right? If I'm not correct.
I don't know. Did we play
Phillies and Orioles? I don't think so.
Or something happened. What they call it, the I-95 series. But that would be cool. As Dolt said, like, you could, if you're rich, you could probably go to all 7 games if it is.
We could go to all 7 games. Yeah. We're just not getting in. We could go sit outside the stadium and tailgate.
But yeah, JP brings up a good point, though. I would love to get revenge on the Yankees. And I have a bunch of friends who are Yankees fans. Shout out to my boy, Mikey D. He's probably going to watch this tomorrow. I'll tell him to watch this. But Mikey D, I've been telling you about this. This is going to happen. And when it happens, the Yankees and the Phillies, we are getting revenge on your freaking ass. I'm telling you that right now because New York, you guys are about to get shit on by us. I'm just telling you because this team is going to go insane on you. So it cannot
Dude,
wait.
you called it. This was a real thing.
Yeah,
So
no, I thought I was
the historian KJ McCoy. No, you know your shit. 1983, the I-95 corridor rivals, Phillies and Orioles, were both among the. I'm not going to, plagiarize and read the Wikipedia article. I just realized that.
Yeah,
that is right.
The I-95 series. Yeah,
actually, also the Yankees and the Phillies would be part 3 because it looks like we met up back in 1950. We got swept by Joe DiMaggio and the Yanks.
Joe DiMaggio, yeah.
Hey, can't win them all, right?
Can't win them all.
That's right.
It's gonna be a lot more, guys. So listen, that first, let me just start with the Boston series because you already brought up the jet lag, right? That's one of the factors in losing that series. But the thing is like it's you would love to win all the series, and the fact is the Phillies have won a lot of series this year, like at an alarming rate. So you factor the jet lag, you factor the fact that this pitching staff, who's been absolutely on a tear this year, your number 2 pitcher and your number 4 pitcher just had duds, and it was super uncharacteristic, right? Like Christopher Sanchez, I think won like 3 2/3. I think the same thing with Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola allows like 8 runs. Like these are things that just hasn't happened this year. You've had a lot of really good pitching, but especially starting pitching. And those type of things do happen here. And JT and Trey being out of the lineup has been huge, guys. Obviously JT's defense, you will miss that. You had a couple wild pitches that went past Garrett Stubbs and Rafael Marchand in the last 2 days. But the offense, right? You're missing your 2 and your 4 hole hitters, right? Like that's big. That's big contribution that you're missing out of your offense there. So when I'm looking in this Baltimore series, I don't have high hopes. I really don't. Baltimore is on a tear themselves. Right now, you look at baseball; it's a Final Four league right now, or Final Four, league right now. It's Philly, it's the Dodgers, it's the Yankees, and it's the O's. And so this is going to be literally two of the 4 best teams in the Major League Baseball. And just right now with the injuries, I mean, I'm curious what the crowd looks like right now down in Camden Yards, how that's going to look, but. I just think right now where we're at, and by the way, tomorrow's Taijuan Walker Day, which I don't feel good about. This Baltimore Orioles team is just young and they freaking rake as well. I think it's going to be another series where you get 1 out of 3, unfortunately. We'll see how today you're up 1-0. We'll see if that holds up. Sunday's going to be a great pitching matchup, by the way. Burns versus Wheeler. Oh, on Father's Day? We get that on Dad's Day?
That's going to be great.
But yeah, I don't have high hopes for this one, but it's okay. Like, I think that's the thing we need to remember. Like, I talked about this today too on the show. Like, we watch baseball games because we're such a crazy football town. We watch baseball games like it's football, right? Like Aaron Nola has a bad outing and everyone's ready to this is why Aaron Nola, you don't pay him that money. This is why he's not a number 2. And it's like,
that was me and Chris. That was me and Chris.
He literally had 1 bad game. He's had a really good season. I think he's less than a 2.5 ERA. Like he's been on an absolute tear of a season. It's 1 game. You want to win them all, but this team is still has, I think it's like a 10 or 9 game lead on the Braves. Like you still got the NL East. Like everything is fine. You have a tough week. Oh, next week's gonna be interesting too. You got the Padres, I think it was the Dodgers or who's the other? Oh, Diamondbacks. You got the Padres and Diamondbacks next week. So next week's going to be really interesting, but I don't have high hopes for this one, but it's okay. It's okay. I think what you're watching this weekend is good baseball and good vibes. That's really what this weekend's all about, guys.
Yeah, I think it's good for a lot of friendships too. Like I know half of my high school is Baltimore fans. The other half was Philly fans. So shout out to Mr. I-95 series over there calling it. How are you feeling about the whole series? You'll be down there tomorrow as well, right?
I'll be down there tomorrow. I have like some family. It's like family-in-law, and he's an Orioles fan, but his wife is my cousin, and she's a Phillies fan. So the funny thing is, I was telling him, I said, don't be surprised if we boo the heck out of Craig Kimbrell. If he comes out as a reliever, don't be surprised. And he said, you know what? he's blew some games for us too this year. So honestly, I might boo him as well. So I might join you guys. So that was kind of funny to hear. And he was like, "Are you just like the other Philly fans that said instead of thank you, Craig Kimbrell, you said F you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I probably was." But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. As JP said before, the Orioles are a great young team. They got a lot of great young players. Gunnar Henderson. They also got, I think they still have Mountcastle as well. They do. I don't know if he's injured or not, but Cedric Mullins is.
He's still playing. Yeah, I love him too. I
Yeah,
wanted him a
awesome.
couple years ago.
Yeah, he's awesome. So I've had him in my fantasy teams for a couple years. I keep on drafting him, but yeah, that team is good, and they got some great pitchers as well. So it's going to be really interesting. I do feel like JP is right about the whole Taijuan Walker thing. I feel like some players over there, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I feel like they honestly, when they were in London, I mean, you saw Whit Merrifield go off. You saw Taijuan Walker do really good. You saw David Dahl hit a homer, but David Dahl seems like he's actually doing pretty good. So, yeah, just a lot of players seem like they weren't really jet lagged over there at all, and they actually performed over there. So maybe they come back here and they actually decide to perform. That'd be great. But, yeah, I just think it's hopefully Taijuan can get it done tomorrow, but it's going to be tough. It really is, because this year it's been aggravating with him on the mound, and it's just been excruciating.
Let me ask you guys. I don't want to look too far at the deadline, but Dole's got me thinking hard here. All right. So how much production do you need to see from David Dole to say, all right, maybe we don't need an outfielder at the deadline?
Well, I will say with David Dahl, the good thing is that he does have a history. He was an all-star with the Colorado Rockies. People don't even know that. So, but then he's had some injuries that have kind of set him back a little bit from what I've heard. And he's been in the minors for a little bit, and he was in the minors with our system. So I think David Dahl right now, he's got a chance right now to really show that he does belong here, that he could still be that kind of, maybe, like, obviously he's not going to be back to the form of being an all-star. But yeah, he can be that kind of player that can replace a guy like Brandon Marsh. I mean, I think Marsh should be. I'm hearing that Marsh is gonna be. He's on his way to coming back pretty soon. I keep on hearing rumors about it. But yeah, I think if David Dahl keeps on performing, we might not need to make that kind of move and those kind of rumors that you keep on hearing about us getting. We were talking about it last week. Luis Robert, or there was also some rumors about Kyle Tucker as well. Those are some rumors. I mean, God knows if it will actually happen. But yeah, I think if David Dahl keeps on performing like how he is, yeah, I mean, why not? Why not try and just let him go? I mean, let him keep on playing until Marsh comes back, and he seems like he's doing fine.
I like the depth with David Dahl. Right now, I'm just having a tough time with center field.
Yeah,
Yoro so inconsistent with the bat, and like this defense hasn't been like all as crisp as we thought it would be this year. And Pache, like you don't even see a lot of Pache, and that's like kind of like the problem. I kind of feel like I would like to see a little more out of Pache, or more. Well, let's see Topper put him out there, say more. But like that's just like my only question mark. Dole, if he continues kind of on this format he's been on, like you're not asking for him to be an everyday starter. You're asking him to be like your utility or backup outfielder. But you know, the center field position, I'm not sure where I'm at with that right now. I guess I have to see a little bit more out of it. But I was someone who was looking forward to seeing Yoro take that, and he really he's kind of like glided with the position. Like you want to see someone like grab that position. Yeah. He's just like, all right, I'm here.
Stop picking dandelions out there and make something happen. Go listen to some rock music, AC/DC or something. Hype yourself up. I'm with you. I will say this about this series. I'm interested to go to Camden Yards again. I haven't been there since 8th grade. It's a beautiful ballpark. I'm interested to see the vibes. I'm interested to see, like JP said, when I go downstairs in a second, crack open a drink and turn the game on my TV. I'm interested to see how much red do I see in that orange. If you're colorblind, I apologize. Because it's going to be a little bit tough. But I want to actually do one more topic with you guys. I didn't actually tell you guys about this one because this one's a surprise. I just thought about it actually on the fly as I was watching something from 97.5 The Fanatic. They asked this question, and I thought it was a great question. So I just want to give a quick shout out to them. The best show ever. And it was, do you have a favorite Father's Day in Philly sports memory? And I'll go ahead and go first because I know on the fly, sometimes people want to think of one. I have thought of this and I share this story all the time. I know KJ's heard this story.
Yeah.
When I was younger, my first ever Eagles game was a Falcons game, but my second was a Cowboys game, which was pretty bold because it's a completely different vibe. Like week 1, oh, we're playing the Falcons at home. Cool. Nobody cares. Like 1 o'clock. When you're playing the Cowboys, 4:25 Sunday, December. Like, yeah, it was baptism by fire. So we get to the link, you're a young kid, you're there with your dad, and you're just loving every moment of what it means to be an Eagles fan. You're having a catch with your pop in the parking lot. You're getting a couple sodas, couple Sprites. They have delicious food. If you're lucky, you get Chicky and Pete's crab fries. And then you're on your way in the stadium.
I knew that.
I gotta give respect and love, and that's not fake. I eat something, breathe it. That's my boardwalk treat. Yeah. So I'm not even sponsored to say that. Maybe one day, Chicky Pete's, call me. I love you. But point being, I remember just being a young kid and just feeling that energy of like, this is like my team. Some kids in my kindergarten class, I remember, were like, we're Tom Brady fans. You're just like, I'm not. Like, fuck him. Like, what? Like, even like as a kindergartner. So like, it's cool how like some of us just really resonate with that fan base. I wasn't a Sixers fan always. I love the color green. I don't know why as a kid. So admittedly, I was a Celtics fan for a little bit. That's a whole other side story.
Yeah.
Boo is damn right. Damn Skippy, right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I came back to the bright side. I think some people do. But for me, it's like, I came out of the womb an Eagles fan. That's always been, like you guys see, obviously, I'm sitting in a green fucking room. I must love this team. So we get in the stadium and the game's about to start. And this guy behind us just is chirping the Cowboys, boo, you fucking suck. And my dad's like, seeing if I hear it. I'm not really paying attention. I'm like, infatuated with something else. And the dude like ends up coming down a couple rows and sitting like right behind me. Like, and I'm like a young kid. And it's kickoff then. And, you hear I think this is when they used to play Welcome to the Jungle. And it's like, whoo!
They still do a little bit.
And they fucking kick the ball off. And the Cowboys player starts returning it. I'd never cheer on an injury. But this dude somehow gets injured, like right on the Philadelphia Eagles logo of the 50-yard line. He's laying there. He's like, and this guy just gets behind me, like literally like this. If this is my chair and this is like young Dalton's right here, and he goes, woo! Get that shit off my lawn, baby. Let's go. And my dad just looks at me. And I start cracking up because, like as a kid, when somebody says like, you're a kid, somebody says the word balls, you crack up. So when somebody curses, it's like the funniest thing ever. And I start losing it. And I think my dad just saw the smile on my face. And it was like a moment of, pride for him. Like, I'm raising a damn Philly fan. Thank God I got an Eagles fan. God, thank you. And that was the moment that I knew for the rest of my life, because of my dad, I'm an Eagles fan. So Dad, to you, Don, I love you. Happy Father's Day. Thank you for what you do. This is all for you today. And go Birds. And thank you for raising me right. But do you guys have any stories? Because it's always funny whenever you think, of that baptism by fire when you're there with your father and you guys just kind of look at each other and you're like, I guess I'm a Phillies fan. Let's go.
Yeah. You go first, KJ. You got one?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So for me, yeah, it's kind of a similar situation. Nobody was cursing or anything like that, but I have heard people curse, obviously. But yeah, for me, I would say that the one thing was when, Dole heard me say this. I have, unfortunately, I have some family members that obviously a rock hit them on the head or an acorn hit them on the head. They're Cowboys fans, and they're from Philadelphia. So it's a disgrace to mankind. From the Philadelphia area, and you decide, I'm going to be a Phillies fan, a Sixers fan. Let's be a Dallas fan because there's a Dallas, Pennsylvania, or that's some excuse I heard from somebody say that. And
I've heard that before.
Yeah, I've heard that excuse, and I'm like, yeah, but you probably never been there. And the funny thing is, a lot of my cousins, they've never stepped foot in the state of Texas. Not the point. But the one thing was my uncle tried to, when I was younger, he tried to brainwash me to be a Cowboys fan, and I never listened to it. My dad overheard him saying, because the Cowboys were on there playing somebody during a Christmas game or whatever. And my uncle was like showing me the game, and he's like, that's the Cowboys. Go Cowboys. And my dad just takes me, pulls me aside and says it to my uncle. He says, don't ever say that crap to my son ever again. That's what my dad told me. He told me about the story. I don't remember it, but I totally believe it. And that's like the one thing where I'm just like, every time I go into their house, like I'll either, if the Eagles are playing them or whatever, I'll just be like, I'll come in there with a Texas accent. I'll be like, how about them Cowboys? And I'll do the Jerry Jones and everything. I'll bring a big 10-gallon hat, but I'll have an Eagles hat on top of it. Don't see me do this. He saw me do this with Cowboy Chris, where I put the Eagles hat right on top of the 10-gallon hat. But
wait, what the fuck is a 10-gallon hat?
Yeah, like the big 10-gallon. You've seen the big cowboy hat I have. You know that big cowboy hat I have?
I know the big cowboy hat you're talking about. I don't know what a 10-gallon hat is.
It's not a 10-gallon, but I know it's not actually 10 gallons, but it's like one of those big ass cowboy hats that you see like the paramedics for the Dallas, like the doctors of the Dallas Cowboys. When they get injured, you see the guys with the big cowboy hats come out. They're like, hey, son, you doing okay? Well, we're just going to bring you back to the locker room at AT&T. Come on, let's go, boy. Come back with us.
Like, you're on an NFL team. Why do you have on a cowboy hat right now? He's like,
I don't know, but like that's the dude down in Texas.
Cowboys and then a cowboy hat. It's like, the fuck is this? Like,
yeah. But yeah, they tried. Good. Yeah, and then one other time, my uncle tried to give me like a Cowboys wallet, and I just threw that crap on the ground. I was like, Dallas sucks. And that was young too. So I just said, and my dad was just like, that's my son. So that's my moment. That is my moment.
I love that. Awesome stuff. Well, unfortunately, I didn't grow up with a Philly sports family. I had to teach the family how to be Philly sports fans as I was a first-gen American.
That's even better.
So my story is a 2006 Christmas Day. All right. So who doesn't remember that season, Donovan McNabb went down, sports hernia injury against the Titans. Yep. So in comes Jeff Garcia. And this was the first time my father really, honestly, maybe like the only time besides Super Bowl year, where my dad was invested in the Birds. Like, he's not really a sports fan. He's not really in he doesn't really know much Philly sports besides what I tell him and just serving the Flyers players back in the day, because he used to be a server at a restaurant in Voorhees. But regardless, so Christmas Day, boys, Birds, down at it was actually Cowboys. It wasn't even AT&T. It was Cowboys Stadium at that time. And dude, Jeff Garcia and the Birds beat the Cowboys 23-7. We get into the playoffs with that win. I think Matt Scoble, who we got from the Bengals, the tight end, scored a touchdown. Either Westbrook or Buckhalter scored a touchdown on the ground. And we got a couple field goals from David Akers. And it was a lot of fun. My dad was so excited. Like, he was cheering and, every touchdown. Like, this is the first time I see my dad, like, have as much fun as I was watching the Birds. And he kind of, I think slowly at that season, he kind of understood my love for the Eagles. But just that Christmas Day was freaking awesome. To this day, you ask my dad, his favorite Eagles quarterback of all time, he'll tell you it's Jeff Garcia. Like, he fell in love with Jeff Garcia. So, like, that was like that special bonding moment. And then, of course, that season ends in New Orleans, and Drew Brees and the Saints beat us, and we should have won that game. Yeah. And I'm crying as the game ends, and my dad's like, look at me, like, he's like, Puppy, why are you crying? It's just a game. I'm like, Dad, it's more than just a game. We just lost the playoffs. Like that whole entire season was just a lot of fun. So, one thing I always say about both my parents is, like, when like an immigrant comes to this country, you don't really know. All you know is you want to give your kids the best life, and they don't really understand like the American lifestyle sometimes. But my parents always did their best trying to understand, and I always appreciated that. I always tell a story about my mom calling me when we won the Super Bowl, and that's really what got me to bawl. I cried. Once my mom called me, I started bawling my eyes out. And my dad just, whether it was me playing football or watching football, he always tries. So, Pops, Juan Pablo Zapata, I love you. Thank you so much for always being there. So that's my dad's story right there.
That's awesome. That is great.
Like KJ said, that's a really cool perspective. I like how you put it well. Like, I got to show my family my love for Philly sports and share that with them. That's awesome.
And that's awesome that he's a fan of just like a random quarterback. But Jeff Garcia is still an Eagles legend. I mean, he was.
That was a fun ass year. And like, I hope that one day, you know, Lord willing, I'm able to have my kids and I can have the moments that you guys are talking about with my kids. Cause I listen, once I have kids, there's no Cowboys fans in my household, Celtics fans, no Penguins, no, you know, no Mets, no NYCFC, no, none of that.
No Red Bull fans either.
Sports. Yeah.
No Red Bull fans.
Philly sports only.
Yeah, exactly.
Raising them right. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there who are raising your kids.
Thank you, Papa John.
Right.
I didn't mention him, but
Papa John, that's awesome. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what everybody calls my dad. So Papa John.
That's sick, dude. I love it.
Not anything to do with the pizza guy. So just references. Yeah.
I call him Papa McCoy, I was gonna say, but happy Father's Day to you, Papa McCoy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a legend himself. That's right.
Awesome stuff, guys.
Yeah. But that's all we got for you guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys haven't, please drop a subscription to the channel. We really appreciate it. You guys have I think we've gotten 300 subscribers or something in the past 3 months. So we're doing a good job with that. Thank you. Thank you. So guys, keep it up. To anybody who's new out here, if you like this kind of stuff, little things like dropping a like, dropping a comment, they go a long way. So we appreciate the hell.
If I could just say,
we're not ending it yet. Don't worry.
No. I just listen, guys. Subscribe and support what 302 Birds is doing. Like in this world, digital content, everyone's trying to put out the same content. And Dahl and company, you guys are putting out unique content that you captivate the Philly sports fan. And listen, the thing is that people forget the part of Delaware is Philly territory. It's part of the Delaware Valley. Yeah. It's that part of the Delaware, the eastern part of Pennsylvania, southern part of New Jersey. We're all Philadelphia. And Dahl, you guys are doing a great job of giving us what we need here as Philadelphia fans. So keep up and support, guys. Show some love. Yeah. So subscribing doesn't cost anything. Liking does not cost anything. It's just a simple boop, and that's it.
Yep,
that's all you got to do for us, and you'll make all these guys' day. Yeah. Please make sure to go follow JP and what he is doing at PHLY Sports. It is awesome. He's on the Anthony Gargano show with
the legend
in the mornings. I love listening to it. His energy is infectious. You come into a room and that's one thing I try to model myself after, and he's the goat of that. Just being a beacon of light in the room when you come in every day and being that coworker that everybody looks forward to seeing, and that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's
we
really
love it.
Cool to see you learn from a guy like him. I mean, he's been a total pioneer. I mean, in this Philly sports media for years. So I mean, it's really cool to see somebody that I looked up to as well as El Pacero. I'm talking about.
Appreciate it, KJ.
From TikTok and everything like that. Just seeing him, be with freaking Anthony Gargano. So it's great to see. And it does put a smile to my face every time I see them together. So it's really cool.
Appreciate it. I listen. I put you guys put a smile on my face. And listen, love you, cuz wherever you're doing, watching baseball, Massimo, or teaching Anthony some football tricks. But love it. I love it. Appreciate it, guys.
Perfect. Well, that's all we got for you guys. I think right now, last I checked, it was 1-1 in the top of the fourth with Bills. So,
and the reason we scored was Kyle Schwarber. It was a Schwarber bomb in Baltimore.
Schwarber fast.
Yep. So, Schwarber bomb. That was awesome.
Get the Wawa Hoagie special going, and he'll really start to kick it up like they said on the Phillies show last night.
Anybody is there, so we'll be. I mean, right now when this show is going to be airing, I'll be on the road. Dalt will probably be in his pajamas sleeping or whatever in Delaware, oversleep, and his alarm will be off. And he'll be like, Mom, I have to get ready for the game.
Yeah, I will definitely say Mom because I still live with my mother, right?
No, he doesn't. I do. So, but my mom's not here. So, but yes, we will be at the game if you guys are around. I mean, I'm in section 308 at Camden Yards. So I think row 11 or whatever. I'll keep you guys updated. But you'll find Dalt. I mean, if you just see, if you try and look for a Squints lookalike, it's Dalt. Just know.
Yeah, that's me. So if you want your picture with Squints Palidorus, I won't have Wendy Peppercorn with me. Sorry, Alyssa won't be with me. I'm in section 771. Oh, no, wait. That's a bar we're going to tomorrow. I don't know where our seats are at. So as soon as I find my seats, I'll update you guys on that. I'm going to probably try to bring the cam down and maybe film some content. I don't know if I'll be able to do interviews or what, because I don't want to be that guy with my friends either. Like, I want to actually be able to enjoy myself, guys. So if you see me, don't be shy to say hi, like get a picture, say what's up. We can film a TikTok together. I just don't know if I'm going to be doing the whole shebang where I usually film content and do interviews and post up somewhere, just for that reason.
Yeah,
but
will not be autographing babies, though. He's not autographing babies.
I will definitely autograph a baby.
Yeah,
I would 100% autograph a baby.
Yeah.
I would autograph a baby, and then I would have the baby give me the baby's autograph, and I would get it tattooed on me because I'm just as much as a fan of the baby as the baby's a fan of me.
That's right.
I love it.
Without further ado, hey, thank you, JP, for joining us. Can we give a round of applause for JP?
Appreciate
you, man.
Like
I said, guys, be sure to give him a follow, and that's all we got. Deuces.
More.
Out the gas, I miss you, buddy.